They said she was just a waitress. But one night changed her entire life. Amara's world was small. Tiny even. She woke up every day at 5:30, caught 2 buses, worked double shifts at the dusty corner cafe, and came home just in time to heat leftovers for her sick mother. Her life had no room for mistakes, only duty, only sacrifice. The Silver Crown Hotel wasn't even on her radar, until Zara dragged her in. Amara, just come for 5 minutes. We'll look around, snap a selfie, and leave. Please? You deserve to see how the other half lives at least once. Amara sighed, brushing flour off her apron. Zara, if I get caught. You won't. I know someone on the kitchen staff. They'll let us in through the back. And that's how it happened. 2 tired girls in cheap shoes slipped into the shining belly of the richest hotel in the city. The scent of roses and roasted lamb hit Amara like a wave. The ballroom shimmered, marble floors, golden drapes, women in silk, men in tuxedos. Laughter floated like music. Crystal chandeliers sparkled above like stars from another world. Amara stood there frozen, clutching her second-hand purse. She didn't drink, didn't party. She didn't even belong there. But just for a second, she wanted to believe. I told you. Zara beamed. Is it magic? Amara smiled weakly. It is. But magic has rules. And reality doesn't like being mocked. Because just as Zara ran off, probably to flirt with a waiter or explore, Amara heard the one sound she feared most. Security. 2 men in black suits scanned the crowd, earpieces blinking. Amara panicked. She ducked. Her heels clicked on marble as she hurried toward the hallway, past velvet ropes and private signs, heart pounding in her chest. She found an open door, slipped inside, pulled the heavy curtain over herself, lungs tight, and then, silence. She waited for footsteps to pass. They didn't come. It was warm, too warm. There was a plush velvet couch behind the curtain. Her legs trembled. Her head spun. Her eyelids burned. She sat. Then, without meaning to, she slept. Elsewhere. Xavier Malik wasn't supposed to be back. Not that anyone knew what supposed to be meant with him. He never followed the rules. Never showed up on red carpets. Never dated celebrities. And never, ever appeared in tabloids. Yet somehow, he was always richer than the last time someone Googled him. He came from oil money, tech money, old blood and young secrets. He owned the hotel, the floor, the walls, the staff. He also owned a very broken heart. His fiancée had left him 3 months ago for a prince. His father had died 1 year ago in scandal. And tonight he didn't want to be seen. His date canceled. The party bored him. The drinks didn't work. So he returned to his suite on the 50th floor, late, tipsy, distracted, and flicked on the dim lights. He was about to pour a glass of water when he saw it. The shape. A figure curled on his couch. Small. Peaceful. Asleep. He blinked. What the hell? Back in the suite. Amara stirred. A sharp intake of breath. Her lashes fluttered. Xavier stepped forward. Tall, lean. Eyes shadowed by tiredness and scotch. His tie was undone. His voice low, husky. Who are you? Amara's heart nearly exploded in her chest. I am sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just hiding. I didn't know. She jumped to her feet. Hands up, voice shaking. Xavier's gaze narrowed. Not in anger. In curiosity. She was beautiful. Not like the women he was used to. Not polished, not sharp, not hollow. Real. Her brown skin glowed in the soft light. Her hair was in a messy bun. Her cheeks flushed with fear. He stepped closer. Relax. I'm not going to call anyone. Amara stammered. I'll go. I shouldn't have come. I'm really sorry. But her knees gave out slightly. She had been standing too fast. Her body still hadn't recovered from the exhaustion. He caught her by the arm. Gently. Firmly. Sit, he said. You're shaking. I need to leave. You look like you haven't slept in days. She hesitated, then nodded. She sat. He poured water, handed her the glass. She sipped. Slowly. He poured a second for himself, sat opposite her, and for a moment silence returned. What's your name? He asked. She hesitated. Amara. Xavier. I know. That made him laugh. A tired, amused chuckle. Of course you do. She lowered her eyes. I really didn't mean to come in. I just wanted to see the chandelier in the ballroom. Then security came and you fell asleep. She nodded, embarrassed. I was working all day. Double shift. I didn't mean to. Stop apologizing, he said softly. She looked up. Their eyes locked. He wasn't what she expected. Not cold. Not arrogant. There was pain behind his eyes. He studied her for a long moment. Then, as if something shifted in him, he said, You can stay. Just for tonight. I won't touch you. I'll take the bed. You take the couch. Amara's mouth parted. Why would you let me stay? Because, he whispered, you look like someone who's never been allowed to rest. Her eyes welled with tears. She said nothing more. That night, she slept. And that night, so did he. But morning would bring consequences neither of them could imagine. The next morning, Amara woke in a room that looked nothing like the world she came from. Golden sunlight poured in through tall windows. Marble floors gleamed beneath her feet. A silk throw blanket slid from her shoulders as she sat up slowly, blinking at the velvet couch beneath her. It wasn't a dream. The glass of water on the side table, the faint smell of cologne, her cafe shoes neatly placed beside a leather armchair. Then it all came rushing back. The gala, Zara disappearing, the soft couch, and him, Xavier Malek. Amara's heart dropped into her stomach. She turned her head and saw the note on the glass table, written in clean, sharp handwriting. You slept peacefully. I didn't want to wake you. My driver is outside. You're safe. See, Amara stared at it like it might explode. She picked up the note with trembling fingers, folded it carefully, and slipped it into her bag. There were no cameras, no angry guards. Just stillness. Silence. She left quietly, without touching a thing. 2 months later, Amara had done her best to forget it. To forget him. She told herself nothing happened. He had come in, seen her asleep, left her untouched. That's what the note said. That's what her dignity wanted to believe. But then the sickness started. First nausea, then missed shifts, then the test. She stared at the tiny pink lines on the pregnancy stick in the bathroom of the cafe where she worked. Her vision blurred. She dropped to her knees on the cold floor. No, no, no. This isn't possible. She hadn't even kissed anyone in months. Except that night. She had been asleep. You're lying, Amara. Zara stared at her in shock. You seriously think it was him? Xavier Malek? The billionaire? Amara nodded, pale as chalk. You said nothing happened. I thought nothing did. Zara paced the tiny apartment, holding her head. Amara, do you know what this means? You could. She stopped. No, you can't go public. Not with a story like this. Amara shook her head. I'm not trying to go public. What do I even do? Zara crouched in front of her. You hide it. No one can know. Especially not him. But he has a right to. Amara. Zara interrupted, gripping her shoulders. You are a nobody waitress. He is Xavier Malek. Do you really think they'd believe you over him? The secret pregnancy, Amara quit the cafe a week later. She started selling handmade soaps online. Anything to work from home. She didn't tell her mother, still recovering from surgery. She didn't tell anyone, except Zara. But secrets don't stay quiet forever. One night, 6 months into the pregnancy, Amara was walking back from the pharmacy when a sleek black car pulled up beside her. She froze. A man in a suit stepped out. Miss Amara Farouk. She clutched her belly, heart racing. I work for Mr. Malek. Her mouth went dry. He'd like to speak with you. In private. Amara's legs felt weak. I don't understand. How does he even? He opened the back door of the car. Please. It's important. Face to face with power, Xavier Malek stood alone in a rooftop garden above the city. The skyline behind him burned gold in the sunset. He turned when she approached, his eyes lingering on the curve of her stomach. Amara felt like she might faint. Xavier's voice was quiet. You should have told me. I didn't know how, she whispered. He studied her. Not with anger, but something else. Confusion. Maybe guilt. I don't remember everything from that night, he admitted. I was drunk, angry. I never expected to find you there, sleeping. Amara's eyes welled. Did you touch me, Xavier? He looked away. No, at least. I don't think I did. But if I did, I didn't mean to. Silence fell between them, heavy as stone. Then Xavier stepped forward. I'm not here to accuse you, or deny it. I'm here to do the right thing. Amara's breath caught. And what's that? A deal no one could know. Xavier leaned on the balcony rail. I want to take care of you. Quietly. No press. No scandal. You'll have everything you need. Doctors. Housing. Protection. Amara folded her arms. So you want to hide me? I want to protect my name. And yours. Her voice trembled. You think I want your money? He stepped closer. I think you deserve more than this city's gossip. And I don't want my child growing up without knowing who they are. Amara looked away, tears blurring the skyline. I don't trust you, she said softly. I don't blame you, he answered. A long pause. Then, let me earn it. End of section. Cliffhanger. Later that night, Amara stood alone in her apartment, holding a small velvet box Xavier had handed her. Inside wasn't jewelry. It was a key to a luxury penthouse across the city. She stared at it, her heartbeat loud in her ears. She was still just a girl who had fallen asleep on a couch. But now, she was carrying the heir to a billion-dollar empire. And nothing would ever be the same. Amara hadn't stepped outside the mansion in over 2 weeks. Not because she wasn't allowed to, but because she couldn't. She spent her days walking the marble halls of Xavier Malik's estate like a ghost. Every corner whispered secrets. Every golden mirror reflected a version of her that felt less and less familiar. One day she was a struggling waitress. The next, she was hidden away in a billionaire's mansion, carrying his child. Though Xavier had apologized 1,000 times for what happened that night, his remorse didn't erase the headlines. Waitress claims pregnancy from billionaire playboy after hotel scandal. Gold digger or victim? The Amara Khan mystery. Xavier's PR team had gone silent. His lawyers had offered her money. His mother had called her twice, offering to send her somewhere quiet until the child was born. Amara refused them all. She wasn't sure what scared her more, the world outside the Golden Gates or the one inside. It wasn't until the 12th night that Xavier finally returned home. She heard the rumble of his matte black Jaguar before she saw him, tall, disheveled, wearing the same tailored coat he was photographed in the day before. Amara stood frozen at the grand staircase as he entered. Xavier looked up at her like a man who had been through war. I tried to fix it, he said softly, but the more I tried, the louder it got. She stared at him for a long moment, then slowly descended the stairs. You think this can be fixed? Her voice trembled. You think this is a press release or a brand crisis? This is my life, Xavier. He reached for her hand. She pulled away. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to be dragged into your world. But you are in it now, he said, whether you like it or not. That night, Amara wandered into the east wing of the estate, a part she'd never dared enter. The rooms were colder, dimmer, older. She pushed open a door and found herself inside a private gallery. Dozens of oil portraits hung on the wall, ancestors of the Malik family, each more regal and intimidating than the last. In the center stood a painting of Xavier's father, powerful, stoic, the man who built the empire from scratch. But below it, barely visible in the shadow, was a smaller portrait of a woman with eyes too familiar. Amara leaned closer. Her breath caught. It was her, or someone who looked exactly like her. Same eyes, same features, even the same mole under the left eye. She backed away in shock. Just then, an elderly voice startled her. She was Xavier's grandmother. Amara turned. Xavier's mother, Yasmina Malik, stood in the doorway, dressed in ivory silk, her expression unreadable. She came from nowhere too, Yasmina said. A village girl. No name. No background. No money. She married into this family? No. She disappeared before that could happen, Yasmina replied, but not before leaving her mark. Amara's heart pounded. Why are you telling me this? Yasmina stepped closer. Because the Malik bloodline has never mixed with outsiders. And when it does, tragedy follows. She smiled gently, almost regretfully. We protect what's ours, even from women who look like ghosts from the past. The next morning, Amara woke up to an empty room. Xavian had gone again. But the news hadn't. The headlines had shifted. Xavian Malik to be a father. Secret meetings hint at settlement. Sources confirm. Billionaire plans to claim love child. Amara stared at her phone, numb. Her hands trembled as she scrolled down, only to see the last headline. Amara Khan breaks silence in upcoming interview. Her eyes widened. She had agreed to no such thing. She was being used, again, trapped inside golden walls, carrying a billionaire's child, and now being spoken for without consent. Enough. Amara made a choice that afternoon. She stepped out of the mansion, into the blinding light, and walked straight to the cameras waiting beyond the gates. The journalists froze. Then chaos erupted. Amara, are you really pregnant? Is Xavian the father? Are you suing the Malik family? Amara lifted a trembling hand and spoke clearly. I'm not here to beg. I'm not here to expose anyone. I'm here because I deserve to be heard. I didn't choose what happened that night, but I choose what happens next. Her voice carried like thunder, and behind the gates, hidden in the shadows, Xavian watched silently. His world was shifting, and so was hers. Xavian's estate in the hills had never felt this quiet. Even the birds seemed to pause their songs as Amara stepped onto the marble veranda, holding a small velvet envelope in her trembling hands. Inside the envelope was the DNA result, the truth. But she already knew. Her baby boy, Kian, had the same sea glass eyes as the man standing across from her now, dressed in a navy shirt, sleeves rolled up, jaw tight, emotions unreadable. Xavian Malik, the billionaire, the untouchable, the man she once saw as a storm she had been foolish to dance in. And yet here they were. So is he mine? Xavian's voice was soft, but sharp enough to split her in two. Amara's lips trembled. You tell me. She handed him the envelope. Xavian didn't take it right away. He stared at her instead, at the same girl who had fallen asleep in his suite, who had refused to take a single penny after her pregnancy, who had vanished without a trace until his investigators found her living in a tiny apartment, juggling 2 jobs and raising a baby that looked just like him. He finally opened the envelope. Read the words. The silence stretched for miles. Then his knees buckled slightly, but he stood firm. I have a son, he whispered. Amara blinked, unsure of what emotion flickered behind those dangerous eyes. Relief? Joy? Fury? You said nothing, he said, voice heavier now. I didn't want anything from you, she said. Not your money. Not your name. I just wanted him to be safe. Happy. I was going to disappear again after today. Xavian took a step forward. No, he said. You don't get to disappear. Not anymore. That night, Kian sat in the middle of the grand living room floor, giggling as he played with building blocks. Xavian sat across from him, knees on the floor, like a man learning to breathe again. Amara watched from the corner, unsure if she should feel like an intruder or a mother finally sharing her child's world. He likes you, she said softly. Xavian looked up. He's perfect. There was a pause. Then he stood, walked over, handed her a glass of something sparkling. I know you didn't come here to hear what I have to say, he said, but I'm going to say it anyway. Amara raised an eyebrow. And what exactly do billionaires say when they find out they've accidentally fathered a child? He smiled, really smiled for the first time. They say they want to do everything they can to make it right. And then they say they never stopped thinking about the girl who fell asleep on their couch and stole their heart before she ever knew it. Weeks passed. Amara and Kian moved into the estate's guest wing at Xavian's insistence, not out of obligation, he said, but because Kian needed both parents. And so did Xavian. Amara, cautious but curious, watched as the billionaire who once terrified the stock market now knelt to change diapers, warmed bottles at 2 a.m., and even sang lullabies, badly, but with heart. She kept her distance at first. Walls were easier than wounds. But slowly, laughter replaced suspicion. Breakfasts became rituals. Conversations turned into confessions. One night during a storm, Amara found herself standing on the balcony, lost in thought. Xavier joined her, bringing a blanket. "You still want to leave?" he asked. She turned to him, heart exposed. "I don't know. This feels like a dream I don't trust yet." He stepped closer. "Then let me earn it." Months later, the gala at the Silver Crown Hotel was once again the talk of the city. But this time, it wasn't just another event for the elite. It was the night Xavier and Malik made a public appearance, holding a woman's hand. Amara, dressed in an ivory gown, hair pinned up with tiny diamonds, eyes glowing. At their side, Tiny, grinning, and in a miniature tuxedo, stood Kian. Gasps erupted as they entered. The press went wild. But Amara didn't care, because as Xavier leaned in and whispered, "Welcome home," she realized something. The girl who once hid behind a curtain to glimpse a chandelier had now walked into the light, and she belonged there.